This is the Lectric XP 3.0 long-range electric bike. What stood out to me right away is how it turns steep hills and everyday errands into easy rides without feeling like a fussy gadget. I put real miles on this bike, from quiet neighborhood streets to rural back roads, sometimes riding solo and sometimes tagging along with my dad. It is a folding, long-range, practical electric bike built for people who want reliable power, low maintenance, and simple controls. If you want something that can be a commuter during the week and a fun weekend ride, but you do not want to learn a complicated app or tweak 100 settings, this is exactly that kind of bike. The frame looks modern but not flashy, and the folding mechanism runs straight through the middle. That matters more than looks. I can fold it down, lift it with both hands, and get it into a car trunk without wrestling with it. It is not feather light, so I would not carry it up multiple flights of stairs every day. But the folding hinge takes a lot of pain out of transport and storage. The step-through design is one of those features you do not realize you need until you use it. Getting on and off is easy, and that makes a difference when the bike itself is substantial. The handlebars slide up and down so I could dial in a height that kept my back relaxed, and the saddle is cushioned enough that I did not feel sore even after longer rides. There is a front light that is actually bright enough to matter, not just a token bulb, and both front and rear fenders keep streaks off your clothes. The rear rack is solid. I clipped on a crate for groceries, and there is room to mount a child seat if that is part of your day. Getting it set up was straightforward. Out of the box, I attached the handlebar, the pedals, and the front wheel, and I was rolling in well under an hour. I did not need extra tools, and I did not need a second person to hold anything in place. The display is simple. Speed, battery life, and pedal assist level are right there. I tap the plus or minus buttons to pick how much help I want, and that is it. There is a throttle on the right side of the handlebar, and when I twist it, the bike moves even if I am not pedaling. Shifting gears is done with a small trigger, one click to go up or down, just like a regular bike. Power is where this thing earns its keep. The rear hub motor is rated at 500 watts and it can peak around 1000 watts when I put it under strain. In plain language, it has enough push to get me up hills I used to avoid, and it does it without a harsh jolt when the power kicks in. The acceleration is smooth, which matters when you are moving between pedaling and using the throttle in traffic or on uneven ground. With the 5 pedal assist levels, I found level 1 and level 2 perfect for flat roads and cruising, and I bumped to level 4 or level 5 for climbs, or when I wanted to keep a steady pace into a headwind. Braking is strong and predictable. The hydraulic disc brakes grab with confidence yet do not feel twitchy. I tested on dry pavement and in a light drizzle, and the stopping power stayed consistent. It is the kind of braking that makes me comfortable riding a little faster, because I know I can rein it in without drama. Range was the big question I had going in, and after a handful of full charges I stopped worrying about it. The company claims up to 65 miles on a charge, and that lined up with what I saw when I stayed in the lower assist levels and pedaled more. On mixed rides where I used a blend of pedal assist and a fair amount of throttle, including some moderate hills, I was consistently getting around 50 miles before I needed to recharge. For most commutes and errands, that is more than enough. Recharging the removable battery took around 5 to 6 hours in my case, which meant I could top it off overnight or while I was at work. Pulling the battery out is easy. The one thing I do not love is the key situation. The key slot sits underneath the frame, which can be awkward to see in low light, and the key has to stay in the bike when I am riding. I have not knocked it out, but I am always a bit mindful around it. Speed is plenty for daily riding. The bike can reach around 28 miles per hour with pedal assist unlocked, but in practice, my normal cruising speed sits closer to 20 miles per hour. That feels controlled and quick enough on bike paths and city streets. The frame tracks straight without wobble, and even at speed it rides like a sturdy, traditional bike with power on tap rather than a scooter pretending to be a bicycle. Let me walk through a few real moments that shaped my opinion. On a hilly back road that I used to grind through in my lowest gear, I set pedal assist to level 4, shifted a couple of gears up, and glided to the top without my legs burning. The motor ramped up smoothly, so I never felt that on-off lurch you sometimes get on cheaper electric bikes. On a late evening ride, the integrated front light actually gave me a clean view of the road surface and made me visible to cars, which let me relax instead of worrying about potholes. On a grocery day, I snapped a crate onto the rear rack, picked up a full load of produce and a few heavier items, and the bike stayed balanced. The rear rack did not flex or creak, and I did not feel the weight of the groceries steering the bike from behind. Folding and transport turned out to be more useful than I expected. I folded the frame, placed it in my car trunk, and drove across town to visit a friend. No bike rack, no straps. At the destination, I unfolded it in a minute and was rolling. That compactness is a lifesaver if you live in an apartment or if your workplace does not have a bike room. I will repeat that the bike weighs around 64 pounds, so you will not want to carry it far, but you do not need to if you can fold and roll it. Comfort matters on longer rides, and this bike hits a nice middle ground. The saddle has enough cushion without feeling like a sofa. The step-through frame makes every stoplight less awkward, and the upright handlebar position keeps wrists and shoulders relaxed. My dad appreciated the step-through and the smooth start. He does not ride electric bikes often, but he felt comfortable within minutes and liked that he could stop, rest a foot, and start again without a fight. One specific use case that sold me on it was the errands plus detour ride. I left home with an empty crate on the back rack, kept pedal assist on level 2 through the neighborhood, then bumped to level 3 as the road climbed toward a small overlook. I used the throttle for a short section that gets busy with cars, rolled back down into town, loaded up groceries, and pedaled home at around 20 miles per hour without sweating through my shirt. I plugged the battery in, and by the evening it was ready for the next day. That kind of flexibility is exactly what I want from an electric bike. There are a few thoughtful touches I did not expect. The display is readable in bright daylight. The throttle and assist controls sit where my thumb and fingers naturally fall, so I am not hunting for buttons while riding. The rear rack is placed so the weight sits close to the frame, which helps handling when it is loaded. The whole bike feels like it was designed for daily life, not just weekend fun. It is quiet enough that I can hear traffic and nature around me without a constant whine. It is not perfect. The weight is real. If you plan to carry it upstairs often, you will feel it. The key placement under the frame is mildly annoying, and having the key in while riding is not my favorite. Those are small compromises for what you get in return, but they are worth noting so you know what you are signing up for. I think this bike fits riders who want dependable power and range with minimal fuss. If your plan is to commute a few days a week, pick up groceries, and take relaxed rides on weekends, this will make your life easier. If you want cutting-edge apps, deep customization through a phone, or something ultralight, this will not be your pick. For everyone else who wants a sturdy, comfortable, long-range folder that just works, it is an easy recommendation from me. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to the channel. Drop your questions or your own experience with this bike in the comments. Thank you for watching.